Welcome to the program, friend. I encourage you, stay with me through this entire episode because I'll bet dollars to donuts that you will learn more about the Islamic faith and perhaps more importantly, how it is, why it is that people in the Obama administration and our State Department just don't get it, and why certain members of the media either refuse to explain true Islam or they simply don't understand it. Let me start with an overarching philosophical problem. You may have heard recently that some people in the Obama administration were using this worn-out argument that if only these Muslim terrorists, of course they don't call them Muslims, if only these terrorists had better job opportunities, then they wouldn't be killing people. Now, this is actually a worn-out discussion that originates with Marxist terrorists. You will remember that there have been many horrific acts of terrorism in the last 100 years, a little more than 100 years, committed by Marxist terrorists. They were fighting over economic issues. They embraced an ideology that said that at the essence of man's existence, there is a clash between the workers and those who control capital. It's class warfare. And so we see that when various countries were overrun by the proletariat, people who had a gun and were fighting for the ideals of Karl Marx, what did they do? They killed the wealthy. They killed them. They brutally murdered them. And they took their possessions. Why? Because it was about money. Because it was about this world's goods. And so what people in the Obama administration and some of their parrots in secular media have done is they've tried to take that philosophical blueprint, which is true historically, and impose it, superimpose it over the Muslim narrative. And it doesn't fit. It doesn't work. It's not true. So that's point number one. Point number two, most of the people that are close to Obama, and I would venture to guess most of the high-level advisors that are inside the State Department. Now hear this, because this is critical, and it's going to seem judgmental, but just hear me out. They're not devout. They're not devout. They're not devout anything. They're not devout evangelicals. They're not devout Roman Catholics. They're just not devout. If they were, well, number one, how many devout Christians would be working for this enemy of Christ who's in the White House? Be like saying, I want to go to work for Caesar while he's butchering the Christians. I want to go to work for ISIS. I'm a devout Christian, but I want to go help Islamic State. It's absurd. But I'll go a step further. To get your mind inside of a religious debate, a religious dialogue, a religious narrative, it takes one of two kinds of people. Number one, it takes somebody who is incredibly devout themselves. If you look at the conflict between the Roman Catholic Church and various Protestant churches beginning at the Reformation, okay? Beginning with Wycliffe, beginning with Knox, Calvin, Luther. It takes somebody who's intensely devoted to the tenets of the Roman Catholic Church and or the tenets of Lutheranism or Calvinism or Presbyterianism to get inside of the mindset of the people that they believe are the heroes in order to understand the mindset of those that they deem to be the enemy, the adversary. I know many Catholics who just cannot understand the hatred that some Protestants have for the Catholic Church. And I'll say to them, look, you will never understand it until you read Fox's Book of Martyrs. If you want to understand why there are certain elements of the Protestant world that have a visceral hatred for the Catholic Church, you've got to read Fox's Book of Martyrs. You have to get inside of their head in order to understand what they think. The other option is to have somebody who is scholarly and has so much integrity that they can suspend their own personal reality and try to get into the mind or into the narrative of the subject that they are studying. In other words, they allow the subject that they're studying to use their vocabulary, to have their priorities, to have their mission, to have their passion. And then they study it in a detached manner, being intellectually honest, not trying to superimpose what they want to see on the object of their study. Okay? So it's either going to be somebody who's devoutly religious or somebody who is incredibly honest on a scholastic level. Stay with me, all right? Because I'm going to explain why our friends at the White House and in the media just aren't getting it. But I think you understand it already. They're not devout and they're not intellectually honest. That's why they don't get it right. I'll be right back.
Hey, everyone's been asking me, when's Unstoppable coming out on DVD? Well, it's here. And I have created my own deluxe signature version of Unstoppable that contains not only the movie, but over 5 hours of additional curriculum and study guides for your family. It's perfect for your homeschool, educational facility, small group Bible study, and family devotions. And I'm going to share with you some of the spiritual warfare that surrounded the release of this film. This box set also includes extended scenes, new music videos, the inside scoop on the whole Facebook controversy. So what are you waiting for? I made this special version with my family in mind, and I know your family will be blessed by it too. Unstoppable 2.0 Deluxe Signature Version. Available only here at kurtcameron.com. I can't wait for you to experience what's inside.
We have put together what we call an online university for you. Now that's a highfalutin way of saying that we have a pretty significant library of material, books, tapes, videos that are there for you for free. Why are we doing this? Because America is desperate for new leaders, and because this material could help you to become the leader that you and God want you to be. Check it out and enjoy it.